Hello and welcome to this edition of Yoga Flow. So today, what I have planned, we'll kind of open up a little bit. We'll move, build a little bit of heat, a little bit of strength training with our yoga practice, and then we will start to get deeper into the hips and open up. And time permitting, I really hope there's time. Maybe with those open hips and warmed up shoulders, we can come into a crow pose balance. And I'll give variations if you're like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't balance on my hands. No worries. You will have options for everyone. So that being said, remember, always operate at your own pace. Take breaks as you need them. If I'm cueing something you don't want to do, or maybe a medical professional has told you not to do, please don't do those things, and it will be all good. So coming into our practice, let's find a nice comfortable seat. So whatever that would look like for you. I'm just going to move the flesh out of the way of the sits bones here. Good. Thinking about the ears, the shoulders, and the hips coming into alignment. Zip up from the pubic bone to behind the navel or belly button into the spine. We'll take a slight tuck in the chin. And we'll begin our practice. So as you begin to turn inward, is there anywhere in the body that you could soften just a little bit more? So maybe the face, the shoulders, the hips. And as you continue to turn inward, now focusing that awareness onto your breath. Is that breath calm, rapid, smooth, choppy? Can you find some expansion with that rib cage? Do you tend to breathe with the shoulders or the belly? Good. Preparing for some changes. So come back into that nice long spine, grow tall from crown to tail. Zipping up from that pubic bone to behind the navel. Strong front will support a strong spine. And as you inhale here, can you find that expansion in the rib cage? And then slowly exhaling it out. Now I'm exhaling through the mouth. You can do what makes you comfortable. Big inhale and expand. Let's pause there. And slowly exhale that out. Good. You can continue with this breath, or you can work with me through Ujjayi pranayama. So I'll do the full. The full is with the inhale and the exhale sound. The exhale is, or the half is just with the exhale. So think about an ah sound on the inhale, A-H, ah. And then think about a ha, H-A sound on the exhale, forcing the air out the nose. Good. You take a few rounds there, keep the belly engaged. Good. So think about returning to this Ujjayi, the full or the half, throughout our practice. Otherwise, breathe in the way that's best for you. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Maybe look up at those hands, touching palms together. Exhale, hands in the heart center. Connecting with an intention. What would you like to give or receive from this practice? So this week I've been using self-compassion and compassion for others. So you're welcome to bring that in as well. And then once you have that set, we'll inhale, take the palms back up overhead, turning palms away, growing taller from crown to tail. Good. So from here, let's take the arms out to the side. I'm just going to rotate, rotate, rotate. Good. Palms up towards the ceiling, taking hands to the shoulders, moving forward and back. My shoulders are a little bit tight today. I'm just going to move forward and back. And then maybe going into some circles here. Nice breath, and then maybe reversing. Good. Taking the arms out to the side, take your right arm over top of the left. You can hug yourself or find just a real quick wrap here. I'm just going to move up and down, forward and back. Up and down, maybe forward and back. If you're hugging yourself, you won't be able to move forward and back, but you can still lift and lower the elbows. Good. And then from here, we'll release. Taking that out wide. Now, left arm on top of the right. Find your hug, find your wrap. Good. And we'll lift, lower, maybe forward and back. Lift, lower, forward, back. Lift, lower, forward, back. Good. And just release and shake. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, take a nice side bend. We're going to go to the left. So, which means it's usually my left. So, think about shoulders and hips in alignment. Reaching here, gaze is where you need it to be. So it can be forward, it can be down, it can be up at the ceiling, wherever you're comfortable. Breathe and expand. And then you choose, hanging out right here. You can side bend deeper, you can always come out. If you choose to open towards the ceiling, really take that arm back there, feeling that stretch. Or if you choose instead to do a C curve roll forward, belly button in, forehead in the direction of the knee, really reach forward with that arm. Breathing and expanding the rib cage wherever you chose. And then inhale and lengthen. Exhale, use your obliques to come all the way back up. Reach, 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 inhale. Exhale, taking that to the other side, thinking about shoulders and hips coming into alignment. Breathe and expand. Good, and then from here you choose. You can side bend deeper. You can choose to take that opening towards the ceiling. So remember, take your arm back there if you can, or C curve roll, forehead in the direction of the knee, but not touching, really taking that arm forward. And when you're ready, inhale and lengthen. Exhale, engage, coming all the way back up. Reach, 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 and grow taller as those arms come down. Good. So we're going to build up a little bit more energy flow here. So I'm going to take my hands behind my head. Head comes into the hands, not hands pressing into the head. Elbows, you want to take them out, but they don't actually have to be at their widest. We just don't want them to be in here. So again, finding that nice tall spine. I'm going to close my eyes because I get motion sickness if I don't. So you're free to do that here too. But I'm going to go to my left. Inhale and exhale to the right. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. You can keep this more gentle motion. So remember, we don't want to crepe through the spine. And that's especially important if you start to speed it up here. And you still want to be able to keep your breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. If you took a little bit faster pace, start to slow that down. Stay with the breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Good. And we'll bring that back to center. Reach, reach, reach again. Let's open into a little bit of a heart opener. Good. And just a little bit of a round, finding that nice upper body stretch. And come back. Good. We're going to make our way onto tabletop now. So if you need to, if you're on a surface and you need to cushion your knees, bring that in. Good. I'm just going to move my blanket to the side here. Good. So thinking about spreading the fingertips nice and wide, rooting through the knuckles of the pinky, the pointer, and thumb. Elbows are going to turn in slightly, keeping the elbows soft. So we don't want to lock them out. And then knees can be under the hips or slightly behind them, or if you've got some low back, as you say, maybe slightly wider. So belly button is in. Inhale, shine the heart forward, tip the pelvis back, nice cow pose. Exhale, really round, mad cat pose. Good. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. So if you're newer or you just like this gentle motion, stay here. I will review one of the other options. So if you've been with me before and you know those, you can go ahead and go there. So for review, option number 2, semicircle cat-cow. Inhaling on the cow. Exhale as you round through cat, sink down on one hip, moving through center, rolling up into cow on the other side, and then maybe reversing that into the other direction. So that's option number 2, and you'll just keep reversing. Option 3 is dynamic cat-cow flow. Inhaling on the cow. Exhale as you round through cat, sink back into child's pose. Inhale, forearms drop, shifting forward. Baby push-up, elbows are in when you do that baby push-up, right into cow pose. So take a few moments to explore yours. You can just do one of them, a mix-up of 2 of them, or a medley of all 3 of them. Move to the rhythm of your body and your breath. Good, and we'll take one more round. Good. And then we're ready. We'll find a child's pose here. So knees can be together as wide as the mat, somewhere in between. If you're coming into the extended child's pose, you can take your arms long in front of you. Forehead can come to the floor or to a block. If you're taking traditional child's pose, hands can come behind, or not behind, but beside the ankles. And forehead, again, can come to the floor or to a block. This is a good one if you have tighter shoulders, because you can just relax them here. Make it active. So can we still zip up from the pubic bone behind the navel? Can we find expansion in that rib cage as we breathe? Good place to find that Ujjayi pranayama, the ocean breath, the victorious breath. And then when you're ready, hands will come underneath the shoulders and we'll come up. Good. I'm going to come back to all 4. We're going to prepare to come into a downward facing dog here. So if you're shorter like me, you're probably fine where you are. Otherwise, taller people, take a half a hand's width or full hand's width forward. Good. So really press into the hands, press that mat away, tuck the toes, lift and shift. Keep a little bend in the knees for right now, and you might have to kind of adjust your feet. So think about the hip bones, knees, ankles, and toes being in alignment. Can you press evenly into the big toe and pinky toe mound? Can you press in and forward into the hands, rooting through knuckles of pinky, pointer, and thumb? Your head and neck will be free, spine is long. Now, if this is good for you, you can stay here. Remember, always keep a bend if you're tight in the hamstrings or have some lower back issues. You can start to lengthen. You can come high on the toes and drop the heels. You can walk the dog, bending one knee, lengthening the other leg. Good. Some people like to even bend the knees a little bit more and then lengthen a little bit. Find yours. Stillness is always acceptable. And then if you took some movement, find some stillness. Drawing up and in, a big inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Walk or step your feet forward to meet your hands. Come to blocks if you can't touch the floor. Good. And get into all 4 corners of the feet, so find a good stable surface. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway, flat spine. Exhale and bow. As you bow, maybe grab opposite elbows here. So find a little bit more traction down that back. Breathe and expand. And release the elbows. One more time. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, root through the feet, engage the glutes, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Strong feet, soft knees, soft tailbone, soft heart. Come back to your intention. Where could you practice a little bit more self-compassion today? And then when we're ready, inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, root through the feet, engage the glutes, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Finding your breath, your mountain and intention. Continuing to warm up here. Inhale, reach and lengthen. And as we reach and lengthen here, let's come into a temple mudra. So think about taking the pointers and the thumbs together. So I'm going to just turn to face you, but you can stay where you are on your mat. So we're going to reach nice and tall. Good. And then I'm just going to get a side bend to my left. When I do that, I'm pressing and expanding through that right side. And then using the obliques to come back center. Inhale, exhale. We'll take that into the other side. Good. Pressing through and expanding through the left side. Good. And then we'll come up. Reach, 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 and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, plant the hands. Step back into your plank pose. Now, you can come down onto the knees here too if you need to. If it's hurting your back, take your feet wider apart. But I'm still rooting through the knuckles of pinky, pointer, and thumb. I'm pressing that mat away. I'm taking my heart up into the shoulders. Good. And I'm pressing back through my feet, through my heels because I'm lifted. I'm holding my plank, but I'm not holding my breath. Whole body workout here. I'm starting to feel the heat now. Good. So if you're a slower, more advanced yogi, you can shift forward slightly. Try not to collapse through the shoulders as you lower down to the belly. I'm going to lower my knees first and then the same thing. Try not to collapse to the shoulders as I lower down to my belly. Good. I'm just going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here. I'm going to take hands a little forward and to the side, relaxing elbows. So we're going to do this as a continued progression through cobra variations. So lengthen, belly button is in, pubic bone is into the mat. Maybe you find a baby cobra here. If this feels okay and there's no crunching in the low back, if you feel crunching, you're up too high, then maybe you want to come a little higher. Watch your form. Shoulders are in their pockets, not up here, and we don't want to hang in the low back, so you want to be supported. If that feels okay, maybe you can come a little higher. If this feels okay and you have it and you want it in your practice, come down just a little bit. I'm going to take my hands more under my shoulders. I'm going to tuck my toes and I'm going to press up and find a full upward dog. I do my up dog on the tops of the feet, but you can always come to your toes. And then when you're ready, lower down with care and we'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Hands back under the shoulders. Stronger, more experienced yogis, you're free to tuck your toes, push up into a plank, shift back down dog. Everyone else will follow me through a tabletop, lifting the knees into your downward facing dog. Good. And from here, when you're ready, inhale, look forward, bend those knees. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, low bow. Inhale, root, engage, and rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. 2 more times, nice and fluid. You choose to take or skip the flow. Whenever you're ready, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, low bow. Inhale, step or hop back to plank pose. You choose, take or skip your flow. So I'm still modifying mine. You're free to follow mine or take your own. From down dog, when you're ready, inhale, look forward, bend those knees, walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, and bow. Inhale, root, engage, and rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, and we lift. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, and bow. Inhale, plant the hands, step or hop back to plank. You choose, take or skip your flow. So I'm going to skip this one. I'm just coming right back into my down dog. So compassion for self often means honoring your body's limits. There's emotional limits that obviously we have too, non-negotiables, but we also have physical limits that we also need to honor. And that might be different day to day or different times of the day. From down dog, inhale, look forward, bend those knees. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, root, engage, and rise. Exhale, hands to heart center, finding breath, mountain, and intention. Good, taking a pause. Good, all right. We're gonna move into a sun salute B variation here. So it has different parts to it. So I'm gonna start by recommending, and if you need stability to move into transitions, have your blocks handy there because that can be really helpful. So I'm gonna start with feet about hip width apart. So knees and toes are gonna track here, and I'm gonna sit back into my chair pose. And I'm gonna make sure that I can feel my heels engaged, I can feel my glutes engaged, I can see my toes, I could lift my toes. And then breathing and expanding that rib cage. So while I'm here, I'm just gonna stay in my chair, but I'm just gonna move my arms forward and back. Just forward and back with the breath, working on range of motion. Good. Now you can choose to take the arms out of this, keep the arms with it, or maybe just take some pulses. So not quite the chair skier flow that we sometimes do, just a little bit different movement. Stay with the breath. Stay with the intention. If you need a break, you take one. Good. And then from here, we'll pause. Inhale. Exhale. Press into those heels and those glutes. Come out of there. Take a nice standing back bend. Keep the front body zipped so we don't crunch and collapse into the back body. Inhale. Exhale, and we'll fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, plant the hands, step or hop back to plank pose. You choose. Take or skip a flow. Good. When you're ready from the downward facing dog, we're going to come to the left side. Left leg's going to lift 3-point. We're going to bend that knee. We're going to do a cheetah hold here. Some people call it flying pigeon, drawing up and in. We're going to round, come forward. Don't go past the wrist. Really take that belly button in. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, round forward. Take a pause. And inhale, take it back. Exhale, round, step or pick up and put the left foot forward between the hands. Use blocks for stability here if you need to. We're going to warrior prep that back foot. So I'm swinging in that heel to heel, heel to arch. You're taking this right leg out wider. Find that stability again as you rise. Warrior one. Good. And we'll get set up here. So front hip's going to come back just a smidge. Back hip's going to come forward. I'm zipping up my front body to protect my back body. I'm pressing through the back edge of the foot, relaxing through the shoulders. Hopefully hip, knee, and toe are tracking forward here so the toes not going in one direction and knees and hips going in another. Good big inhale. Exhale. Let's just open here into a little bit of a back bend. Strong through the back edge of the back foot. Inhale. Exhale, taking it up. Pressing again through the back edge of the back foot. We're going to hinge forward. Keep that long torso. We're going to hold here. So this is balance. This is power. This is core. Core being both the front and back side of the body, not just the abs. Inhale. Exhale. Lengthen that front leg as you come up. One more time. Let's open. And from warrior one, reach, taking that path to the mat, swiveling up the back foot. That back knee is going to ground. Good. Making sure that knee is behind the hip if you can. The Right hand is going to come to the floor or come to a block, and we're going to open to the left. Maybe look up at that hand. Some of you are going to wrap that arm around. That's fine and okay too. Always options. Inhale. Exhale, taking that hand down. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, front foot steps back. You choose. Take or skip a flow. The full or a modified. Good. Resting for a moment. Find that breath. Find Ujjayi if you can for a couple rounds. Good. And when you're ready, we'll take that all to the right side. Right leg's going to lift 3-point, bending that knee. We're going to round forward and pause in that cheetah flying pigeon. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, round forward and take a pause. Inhale, take it back. Last time, round forward. Step or pick up and put the right foot forward between the hands. We're going to warrior prep. So heel to arch alignment. Find stability. Use your blocks if you need them. Rising up. Front hip will come back. Back hip will come forward. Pressing through the back edge of the back foot. Good. Front knee, hip, and toes. I forgot to say this on the other side, but you should be able to see your toes here. So if you can't, take that foot more forward. We don't want any ACL injuries here. Good. So drawing up and in. Strong front supporting that back. Let's open into that back bend. Inhale. Exhale, take it up. Again, strong front. Support that back in this little forward reach here. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen that front leg. We're going to open one more time. Finding warrior one. Reach forward as you take that path to the mat, swiveling up the back foot. Let that back knee travel down behind the hip. Good. So now your left hand can come to the floor or onto a block. Draw up and in. We're going to open to the right. If you want to wrap here, you can. You can just stay here. Inhale. Exhale, taking that hand down. Tucking the back toe, lifting the back knee, front foot steps back. You choose. Take or skip a flow. Good. From your down dog, inhale, look forward, bend those knees. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, sit back into that chair. We're going to end similarly to where we started this series. Good. So from here, I'm just going to move the arms forward and back. Staying in the chair. Hips, knees, and toes are tracking in that alignment. Good. Now from here, a little bit of a different motion. Arms are going to come down, go out to the side. You can do the bouncy bounce here. You can clap your hands if you want to, if you're feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm kind of getting a little flow and a rhythm going here. Whew. And then when you're ready, sit back, pause, arms forward, pressing through, finding that standing back bend one more time. Exhale, hands to heart center. Finding breath, mountain, and intention. Soft knees, soft tailbone. Good. All right. So we're going to go into another little flow series here as we start to prepare to open the hips just a little bit more. We need a little bit more warming here. So from here, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, step or hop back to plank pose. You choose. Take or skip your flow. You can modify it with me. Good. Find your breath. Good. Now left leg's gonna lift 3-point, bending that knee round. Step or pick up and put the left foot forward between the hands. Warrior prep the back foot, heel to arch, or a little bit wider. Use blocks for stability if you need those to come up. And we'll rise. Warrior 2. Good. Now check in with alignment here. So my front hip's gonna come back a little bit, back hip's gonna come forward. Hip, knee, and toe, track forward. Zip up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Palms up 3 times. We're going to lengthen and lift. 1, 2, 3. Find warrior 2. Front knee can stay bent or you can lengthen it. Find exalted. If you like to arm wrap or arm bind here, find something that works. I'm going to try a half wrap today. And then from here, when you're ready, inhale, exhale, warrior 2, going into an extended side angle, pressing through the back edge of the foot. I'm lengthening and hinging forward, keeping a long torso. When you can come no more, forearm can come to the thigh. You can bring in a block here, inside or outside of the foot. I recommend outside if you're newer. Drawing up and in, watch your knee here, over or behind the ankle, and we'll open. Try to really open up that shoulder. Maybe you want to take your arm long in front of you. Good, so I'm just going to open just a little bit more here. Inhale, look down at that front foot. Lengthen that leg, get into the feet as you take it back. Exalted variation. Good, moving into a triangle. Taking it forward, getting set before we move. If you need to change your alignment, go ahead and do that. Front hip will come back hip will come forward. Reach, and hinge. Keep the front knee soft. And then maybe we come to thigh, shin, block, or the floor. And then we can open up here. So this is a long torso. Remember, this is not a forward fold. If your hip shifted and transition, think about front hip coming back hip coming forward, and a stacking of the shoulders. Inhale, looking down at the front foot, putting a bend in that front knee. We're just going to move back with a little bit of grace into exalted, and then we're just going to flow forward, cartwheeling down, swiveling up the back foot, front foot comes back. You choose, take or skip a flow, noticing how right and left side feel. Good. Inhale, look forward. Whoops, that's not where we're quite are. Sorry about that. Right leg's going to come back, 3-point, bend that knee round. Step or pick up and put that right foot forward between the hands. Your warrior prep, heel to arch, and you'll rise into your warrior 2. And so I'm just going to switch sides here. So you still are looking for that heel to arch alignment. They're a little bit wider. Good. Front hip's going to come back a little bit. Back hip will come forward, reaching long. Watch your front knee tracking. You should be able to see those toes. Palms up. Lengthen in once and come back. And 2 times and come back. 1 more time. We will reach and come back. Warrior 2. Good. From here, with a bent front knee or lengthened front leg, take it back and exalted. If you did a bind or a wrap on the other side, maybe find something similar here. While you're here, maybe sending compassion to somebody you know. So I recently experienced a loss of a childhood friend. So I'm sending some compassion to her closest friends and her family. Inhale, exhale, warrior 2, go. Going right into that extended side angle. Reach, and lengthen. Then forearm can come to the thigh. Maybe arm can come up. Maybe you want to come to a block here. Find where you need. Really open up through that shoulder. Good. Watching that front knee over behind the ankle and pressing strongly through the back. Inhale, looking down at that front foot. Exhale, I'm going to lengthen. I'm going to come back exalted. Good. I'm starting to sweat here. I hope you're sweating just a little bit too. And then from here, I'm going to come up. So my back foot is a little bit wide for triangle for me on this side. So I'm going to bring that in just a little bit here so I'm more stable and not hanging in my flexibility. So front hip will come back hip will come forward. I'm rooting my feet in. I'm going to lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And when you're ready, a thigh, a shin, a block, the floor, and we'll open up here. Again, think about a stacking of the shoulders, long torso. If your hip shifted, front hip comes back hip comes forward. And looking down at that front foot, putting a bend in that knee as you come up and lengthen and take it back. And flowing through a warrior two, back into that little cartwheel, planting the hands, front foot steps back. You choose, take or skip that flow. And I'm just going to turn back around here. Good. From your downward facing dog, when you're ready, inhale, look forward, bend those knees, walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, root, engage and rise. Exhale, hands to heart center, finding breath, mountain, and intention. Good. We're going to step out wide here, so we're still preparing the hips. So let's come into a more traditional prasarita here. So make sure big toes are in alignment. The edges of your feet are in alignment with the short edges of your mat. And then when you're ready, think about pressing through the outer edges of the feet so we're not collapsing on our arches. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Good. So hands can come down whenever you're ready. Some people like to stay here. Some people like to walk them forward and hinge back. Some people like to come down on forearms. Some people like to take hands behind, maybe to the shin, the foot, the yogi toe. No rules here, as long as you're trying to keep a long spine and you're honoring your body's limitations. Stay with that breath. Good, and then from here, when you're ready, inhale, come forward. We'll take our hands back a little bit here. Let's put a little bend in the knees. Good. Hand to each thigh, pressing to the outer edges of the feet, and then we'll come up to standing. Good. So continuing to prepare, heels are going to turn in, hips, knees, and toes are going to turn out. Sunrise flow. Big inhale, exhale, take it down. And we reach and come down. Good, and we breathe. Good, one more time. Good, so from here, when we come down, we're gonna hold this one right here. Now be mindful, do you have a tendency to lean forward here? Could you think about taking that hip a little bit more forward, a little bit more length in the spine? You can bring your feet out wider or closer in to make that work, depending on you. But I am able to lift my toes here, finding my arches and getting into the heel. And I'm breathing as I'm holding. Maybe you can sink just a little bit deeper. Some of you will, some of you won't. And when you're ready, big inhale and reach. Exhale, hands to come center. You can heel toe in, or hop together. We're going to come into the top of our mat and start to get into a little bit deeper hip openers here to prepare for peak pose. So coming to the top, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Now notice how this fold feels compared to that very first one we did. How is it different from the wide-legged forward fold that we just did? Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, little bow. Inhale, step or hop back to plank pose. You choose, take or skip your flow. I'm going to skip this one. And while we're here, before we move, check in with your good down dog form. Are you still pressing in and forward into the mat, shoulders in their pockets, pinky, pointer, and thumb? Are you still pressing in the big toe and pinky toe mounds? Are you honoring a little bend in the knees? So you don't see me do that too often. I am able to get my heels down, but just be mindful. It took me 8 years of consistent, almost daily practice to be able to do that. I am not naturally flexible. And then from here, we'll move on. Left leg lifts 3-point, bending that knee around. Step or pick up and put that left foot forward between the hands. I'm going to let that right knee just travel back here. Good. Making sure that knee is behind the hip, not directly under it, so that your kneecap stays happy. I am going to bring in a block here for support, and I'm going to use that here in a moment. Good. So some of you might just stay here. This might be all you need. The goal is to kind of open up here on this side. Otherwise, I'm going to use my block for stability as I come up for a moment. I'm just going to kind of take it back, a little bit of a reset. Front hip comes back hip comes forward, and I'm just going to settle back in. Good. So if the low back feels funny here, you're too deep into this pose as well. Good. So you will not see me turn towards you. I'm going to turn in the opposite direction, but I'm going to use my block. Make sure this front heel is grounded. So if you're kind of like this, see if taking that foot forward will help you. And then from here, I'm just going to look over that left shoulder. Good. Maybe I can bend that back knee. Maybe you can reach it. So for me today, it's just going to be the heel. Pants, grabbing your pants is always okay too. And maybe you want to roll onto the edge of that left foot. Good. I rolled onto the edge of my left foot. I'm going to take that foot back down. I'm going to carefully release my right foot here because I was in a bind. And I'm going to hinge back. So as I hinge back, now I want my hip and knee to be in alignment. You might need to slide this left heel forward a little bit here. You can use 1 block, 2 blocks. Some of you might not need blocks. And I'm just going to lengthen that torso. Good. So keeping softness here. Half split pose, half Hanuman. How deep you fold is all about your hamstring. Sometimes it'll let you fold deep, and other times it feels like it doesn't want you to move at all. And then when you're ready, I'm just going to come back forward. Good. I'm going to take my block forward, planting my hands, tucking that back toe, front foot comes back. You choose, take or skip that flow, noticing how one side feels compared to the other. Good. We're going to go into a pigeon pose on the left side as well. So my left leg's going to come up. I'm going to bend, and I'm going to take that left knee behind the left wrist. My left heel is closer to the hip crease, but it doesn't have to touch it. Be careful that you're not taking it more into the groin or the private area. You want to kind of have it a little bit wider here if you can. And then if this is not comfortable for you, or you've got a lot of space under that left hip, roll onto your back, cross the left ankle over that right knee. It'll look like this for figure 4. Same hip rotation, less intense on your knees and your hips. So don't be afraid to come here if you need to. I have days where that's where I have to practice pigeon pose. So be mindful. If you're belly down, remember weight is through center. And then whenever you're ready, I'm going to come up here. Good. I'm going to tuck the back toe, lift the hips, taking my left foot back. Woo. And I'm just going to walk this dog. Maybe come back to that Ujjayi Pranayama here for a moment. Good. When you're ready, right leg's going to lift 3-point, bending that knee round, step or pick up and put that foot forward between the hands. I'll let that left foot come back and that knee will come down here. Good. So I'm going to bring in another block here. I like it for stability and balance. Just coming up a little bit. Good. Good. And then I'm just going to come up a little bit more as a reshift. Front hip comes back hip comes forward. Settling back in. Decide where you want to go here. Good. You can stay here. You can look over that right shoulder. Maybe you can bend that back knee. So again, key to this is having the knee far enough back to where you're not on the kneecap. Maybe you bind, maybe you don't. So for this side, it's going to be more for the heel. Maybe you want to rock onto the edge of the right foot. Good. And when you're ready, good. I'm going to roll back onto my right foot. I'm going to release without slingshotting, always being in control. A block or two here as you set up for a half Hanuman. So hip and knee in alignment. You might have to slide that heel a little bit more forward. Good. Front hip comes back hip comes forward. Little softness here. Hinge forward, long torso. Breathe and expand. And when you're ready, good. I'm going to take this block in to help me with my transition. Good, bringing this foot in, planting my hands, tucking that back toe, lifting, front foot comes back. A little bit of a walk of the dog. We're gonna go to that pigeon pose on the other side now. So right leg's gonna lift, 3-point, bending that knee round. Coming behind that wrist. Good. Maybe you need to come onto your back here, crossing right ankle over left knee. You choose. Fill in any space under here if you've got it. And then find your variation. Good. And then whenever you're ready, in the way that's best for you, good. We're going to come up out of this pose, tucking back toe, lifting, shifting. You choose, take or skip this last flow of the class. And then from here, we're going to come into a Malasana squat. So some of you are just going to bend your knees and walk up in here, taking the legs wide, hips, knees, and toes turning out away. Some of you might need to come to the wall for a wall squat. Others are going to bend the knees and take a big hop up here into your Malasana squat. Good. So you want to be, let me turn this way. You want to be where your heels are grounded. Good. Now some of you might need to take a block and put under here. You've got 3 heights for that block for a little bit more support. I like a block most days. Good. So drawing up and in, find the outer edges of the feet, try not to collapse. Maybe we release and we open and come to center. Another side and we release and we open and come to center. And we're going to release this entirely here, taking hands in front of you, getting into the feet, pressing up and releasing out of there. Good. And then whenever you're ready, good, we're going to prepare maybe for a crow pose. So I'm just going to start to take my feet together here. I want my heels to touch. So hip, knees, and toes are turning out away from the body. So 2 different setups here for different people. Some people, you'll see this in pictures where the knees are behind the upper arm here. That's fine. I'm sensitive. That causes bruising for me. So I modify that by taking my knees on the outside. So some people just need to be a grounded crow. Maybe you're just kind of hanging out in the yard, watching what everybody else is doing, seeing who drops corn, who drops food, and maybe you're just rocking back and forth here, just working on opening up the hips, okay? Some of you are gonna come forward. Maybe you experiment coming a little bit more forward, lifting one foot. And then maybe you choose to try to lift the other foot. Good. So watch your hands. You still want the roots between the pointer, the pinky, and the thumb, okay? Now, for me, I need a little bit of lift to help me today, so I'm going to take my feet up on my block. Same setup here. Now I've got my knees higher. They're closer to the armpit. That's what I want. And then from here, maybe coming forward, Looking forward, if you tuck your chin, you will somersault. Good. So I lost a little bit of upper body strength during the pandemic, so I can't hold it like I used to, but that's basically crow pose. And I'll show you this, try to show you this from side view, a little bit easier to see. Good. Okay, so that's all it is. You don't have to hold it forever. It is harder than it looks. But when you've played with that, we are going to come down to a seat. We're going to come onto our back. Grab a trusty strap if you've got that. And we're going to come into a half happy baby. Let me move my mat out just a little bit more here. We're going to come into a half happy baby and an assisted stretch and a twisty. So let's take this out. Good. So wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Find your firm foundation. I'm going to start on the left side. So I'm just going to let that left knee come in. And then I'm just going to gently guide that knee towards the left shoulder. Your right knee can be bent or that leg can be extended long. Good. So some of you, if you're still feeling a little tight here, maybe half happy adult is better for you. And you're just going to grab that shin, and this is all you're going to do here. Those of you going into half happy baby, inside or outside grip of the foot, you're just going to lift. And remember, this is a gentle downward pressure. This is not a death grip or a jamming with all your might, trying to get that knee to touch the floor. Look for a little bit of length from crown to tail. Good, and then when you're ready, so if you want to think about it from one perspective, this is kind of a half squat. This is what it looks like, because that is kind of what it is. Good. I'm going to release that leg. I'm going to take that leg up a little bit here, grabbing my trusty strap, and then I'm just going to loop it around. Good. So letting that left hip come into its socket. Both, let's go to the right. Both straps are going to go into the right hand, extending the right leg long. You can arc over with a long leg or a bent knee, or you can take that leg all the way over, keeping the leg in line with the hip, trying to keep left shoulder grounded, maybe looking to the left, full spinal twist. Breathe and expand wherever you chose to go. Good, and then when you're ready, we're coming back into center. Good. We're going to remove that strap, keep it close. Now your left knee can stay bent or that leg can go long. And now we're going to take the right knee up. Good, and just kind of guide it towards that right shoulder, kind of point in so you can have that half happy adult here. You can go into that half happy baby here. Go where it's best for your body. And when you're ready, carefully just release. I'm just going to let my leg come towards the ceiling here as I grab my strap. Good. Now I'm going to loop that strap around the bottom of that foot. Strap's going to come into the left hand now. Left leg's going to come long. You can do that straight leg or bent knee arc over. You might have to move around to find your sweet spot if you're staying there. Or take that leg over, keeping it in line with the hip. Right shoulder grounded, maybe looking to the right, full spinal twist. So again, bringing back our intention. Compassion for self, compassion for other people or situations. And when you're ready, head will come back to center. Leg's going to come back to center. You can remove that strap. Take your knees into your chest, maybe rock side to side. Maybe lift up into a full body hug one time. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to come into Savasana from here. So you can let everything come long and fluff open. You can put a bend in the knees. You can be on your side. You can be on your belly. Be where it's good for you. And I'm just going to come into bent knees here. I'm going to roll my shoulders back. So see if you can find yourself about 10% more comfortable than where you are. I'm going to leave you here for a few short moments. So compassion was the intention today. Maybe focus your Savasana to your heart center. Take your inner gaze to your heart center. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or maybe invite movement of the fingers and the toes. Choose stillness or taking knees into the chest, choosing to keep the upper body lowered, or maybe you want to tuck the chin and lift the upper body into a full body hug. And choosing stillness or extending legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex through the feet. Bend and stretch through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for you in this moment. Contemplating the practice in Savasana here. And when you're ready, we'll come all the way up to a comfortable seat. Maybe the same one you started with, maybe a different one. I'm just going to bring my blanket back in here. Good. Finding that nice tall spine and noticing how you feel now versus when you first started. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen, touching palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Reconnecting with that intention of compassion one more time. We'll take our thumbs to our forehead for good and true thoughts, to our lips for good and kind words, and to our hearts for open and loving hearts, knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, may you stay well, may you have a wonderful day and week ahead. May you always find compassion and give compassion. Namaste.